Let's search our deck for Quick Ball. Quick Ball this away. We do have the Galarian Moltres. Klara, drop those two. Fiery Wrath, knocking out the Mew for 240 damage. You are now watching Zaclasage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' peeps? Welcome back to the channel, Zaclasage here. We're gonna be covering over another Brilliant Stars deck profile today, and this one's not filled with Arceus V-Star or anything else like that. It's actually filled with a bunch of different Dark-type Pokemon. So, Galarian Weezing being one of them has Neutralizing Gas, and you can use Severe Poison to kind of offer up some kind of chip damage as you go along. As the game progresses, you could either rotate in between going with Galarian Moltres, or you could even go in something with Sableye V. So Galarian Moltres you could try to play down in a single turn with its Malevolent Charge ability, and then once your opponent draws a few prize cards, you can use its attack Fiery Wrath in order to get the knockout. So between all of these cards available in this deck, it's one of those things where you're able to do a lot of damage in the late game, not really early game. So you poke around with your Pokemon, sacrifice prize cards when necessary, and we're going to be covering everything available, going over the deck list, the reasons why, all that good stuff, and some gameplay. So the list is in the description. You can copy and paste it right into PTCGO. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's absolutely jump right into the deck profile. This is the deck list that we're working with, and I do want to give a huge shout out to Mo Ideas for helping me out with this concept and kind of working through some things with me. We discussed it a little bit about a week ago, and shout out to them and all their success because they typically play this deck. I know they're not necessarily the biggest fan of Galarian Weezing. I think it might be necessary going forward. We'll have to see as the metagame progresses. That being said, our ideal starter is going to be Castform. The reason why we're playing this is not because of its attacks, it's because of its HP and its retreat cost. So we're looking at its HP because it is level ballable. You can grab it with level ball. Other players do play Tapu Koko. I like playing this one. Now you might ask, why would I play this Castform, not the other ones with free retreat? Well, I think this one has the most uncommon weakness out of all of them, and that's just like one of those small like nitty gritty things. I think the Castform is pretty cool. You could always play Tapu Koko if you like its attack to draw cards. I don't necessarily feel like I'm winning games, so I'm using that attack. Maybe I would. Well, it's a difference in playstyle. You want to really start off going second in most cases. At least I like to do that. Going Keep Calling to get off my Sobbles in play. You want to sacrifice, feed your opponent some cards. In that time, you might want to go after that and start using Hoopa's Assault Gate, 90, or maybe Neutralizing Gas and Severe Poison in the right matchup to put some chip damage on your opponent's Pokemon. After your opponent's drawn a few prize cards, or they have enough chip damage, you can use something like Sableye V. Crazy Claws. You could Raihan this Pokemon the turn you put into play. You can see we got a couple copies of Raihan over here. You could slap down that Sableye, and again, when it comes to things like Sableye, Zapdos, and Galarian Moltres, you typically want to play them the turn that you're going to play them. Do not play them down early because your opponent will boss orders, knock them up before they're effective. So you could drop it down, damage that Pokemon, Crazy Claws it, all good. You can use this against a Pokemon that's weak to fighting. Eternatus is also making a comeback. Arceus V-Star is weak to fighting. Gengar is weak to fighting. Galarian Zapdos might have some other uses, and it's not too bad against a deck like Jolteon VMAX either. We also have access to the Galarian Moltres, so you can power it up with its Malevolent Charge, and after your opponent's drawn a few prize cards, Fiery Wrath does add up. You can rinse and repeat these Pokemon with Klara, and if you run into anything like Rapid Strike or Jolteon VMAX, typically this deck's worst matchups from previous formats, Wave Veal does block bench damage. That's really where it's going to be huge. There's a lot of technical little difficulties when it comes to this deck. Like there's a lot of things just from choosing things like Shady Dealings or going Shady Dealings here or Quick Shooting. It's very difficult to pilot. We also get a lot of other little nifty things here, mainly being Cynthia's Ambition. I think Cynthia's Ambition is going to be huge here because we're able to get knocked out, draw more cards. If you don't want to draw more cards, we've now added the option to use Bruno, so you could shuffle and draw 7 instead. You have ways to go Marnie, you have ways to go Professor's Research. This deck is very situational, and you'll find yourself in weird situations where all those cards are viable. The only other thing that's relevant is adding in the Energy Retrieval. I know a lot of lists go with 2 Training Court. Adding in Energy Retrieval can be absolutely huge to do Galarian Moltres, so it's kind of like a Klara without using a supporter. There's a lot of things that we can go over for this deck. I do want to let people know if you're trying to pick up these cards online on PTCGO or PTCG Live, consider going to PTCGOstore.com, plugging code Zaclasage5 to save 5% on your order of codes. You can trade or maybe Open some packs on PTCG Live, whatever works best for you. You could also go to atlascollectibles.com, plug in code ZELOSAGE8 to save 8% off Pokemon singles if you're trying to get this ready for an upcoming tournament. All those links are in the description. Let's jump into some gameplay. So I'm going to call the coin flip. We are going to call heads. We lost the coin flip, and that's fine. We'll let our opponent choose. Our opponent might just choose to go first. I think we're fine to go second. Oh, we're going to go first. That's fine. It's out of our control. Not really a big deal as long as we don't lose the game. In this case, if we are playing against a Mew deck, we got to use everything that we have available to us. So I think I'm going to put the Manaphy down. The reason why I'm going to put the Manaphy down is in case our opponent tries to go for a turn 1 knockout or something like that. I think this is a really good strategy. We could always Scoop Up Net this Pokemon, and it's just losing a Scoop Up Net. And we'll wait until we draw our hand or whatever's going on before we decide, or an extra card or whatever's going on before we put anything else down. So we did hit a Mew deck. Again, this would be a great start if we were going second. We have that Sobble. I am going to go ahead here and go Energy Search. Search my deck for a Dark Energy. Or actually, we're going to search our deck for the Fighting Energy. That might be a little bit better. We're going to see exactly what's going through here, what exactly is prized. Nothing crazy, nothing crazy. And we're going to go ahead and grab the Fighting Energy. Now, depending on what our opponent does here, we're going to slap that down, pass our turn. We might be able to go for a Koffing play. We might be able to go for and turning into a neutralizing gas to stop their Fusion Strike system. Maybe that will work, maybe it won't work. We'll have to see how it goes. I think next turn going Keep Calling is not the worst play ever. So Scoop Up Net, Keep Calling, and then maybe just like leaving our hand as is. Because remember, we want to be sacrificing prize cards in this matchup whenever possible. When our opponent draws 3 prize cards, that's one of their Galarian Moltres, get the knockouts on their Mew VMAX, and that's really good. I think our opponent's just trying to roll through some things. They might just go Elisa Sparkles on their Mew. It's actually not even a bad idea to go Elisa Sparkle on a Genesect so that we have access to neutralizing gas. Maybe the Fighting Energy is throwing them off. They might not have played against one of these decks with Zapdos in it before. There's another energy. They might just go find a way to get a knockout this turn. That might be a little bit difficult for us to deal with. Okay, let's see what we can get. I mean, not entirely what we're looking for, but you want to what? Let's try to see if we can go for neutralizing gas. Let's go for Drizzile. We can go ahead, search our deck for a Quick Ball or a Level Ball or something like that. I think I'm going to end up going for a Level Ball. You can see that we have access to Koffing, we have access to Weezing, and we're putting one at the bottom of our deck. Hopefully we can find an energy and really hit our opponent hard with the neutralizing gas. So let's go Level Ball here. We're going to search out the Koffing, and then we're just trying to find a Dark Energy so we could evolve with Ascension. So we're going to go Scoop Up Net here. The Manaphy is just going to go back into the hand. And now that we have more than one Pokemon in play, we can go for the Marnie. We would have liked to maybe draw a few more cards, but if we get a Dark Energy, we're chilling. Unfortunately, we did not get a Dark Energy, but that's fine. We're still trying to sacrifice some amount of prize cards. So let's go Quick Ball this away. I don't really want to lose a boss, but I do want to get some other things in play and other Sobbles, so we have access to Drizzile, and I want to have a Castform out whenever possible. So we have this, and I'm going to search for the Castform. This is a case where the Tapu Koko would be fine, because we have both a Level Ball and a Quick Ball, but you can see if we only had the Level Ball, and we needed the Castform, we're good. Castform's going to allow us to pivot into things next turn, and there's really no reason for us to sacrifice anything here or anything else except the Koffing. We're just going to go ahead here and pass. Had we had the Dark Energy, we're absolutely chilling, but even cards like Bruno and Cynthia's kind of live long with the whole thing of like, let's just hope that our opponent doesn't really have much going on, and like, let's just hope that our opponent knocks us out, and let's go ahead and draw more cards. So we're trying to offer up some cheap prize cards to feed the fire in this matchup. It doesn't look like we're getting off neutralizing gas really too hard or severe poison, so we're probably going to be looking for some kind of Hoopa strategy or some way just to attack in general. And our opponent's like, it's not like their setup's the craziest, but it's also one of those things where we just have to be careful because Mew can play really well in this matchup. I find that a strong Mew player is almost favored in this matchup, especially if their deck is built to beat it. They could put Oricorio and that will stop some Hoopa damage here and there. They could do a lot of just random little things. So we'll see exactly what we could do overall, but it doesn't look like our opponent's necessarily playing around our deck. It looks like they're just getting set up in general. Psychic Leap's really not a bad attack either for them here. Maybe they don't have the Mew VMAX. Maybe they're just going to go retreat into a Genesect or something and not try to go for Psychic Leap. Maybe they're going to Psychic Leap, put it under the deck, send up Meloetta. I'm honestly not sure what our opponent's going to be doing here. But it doesn't really matter. There's a Psychic Leap. So now our Bruno's activated so we can shuffle draw 7. And I don't think they're going to put the Mew back into their deck. So let's send up the Castform because we have free retreat. Remember that. I was going to say, watch it be a Dark Energy, right? We are going to go ahead here and go Level Ball, search our deck for something else. And when it comes to something else, we can see here, unfortunately, our Hoopa is prized. So that means we need to find something that can get some damage off. It might just be us using like something simple like Waterfall to try to get some damage out here. Now, we'll probably wait until we can get an Evolution Incense. We still have a couple left. If worse comes to worse, we could always... we could go Drizzile and go for Evolution Incense. That actually might just be the play here, just so we can try to guarantee some damage on that Mew. So I'm going to go ahead, go Drizzile, Search. And it also is something that they don't easily knock out, so I think that's fine. It's just because our Hoopa is prized that we have to play differently here. Otherwise, I'd just be hooping into the Mew if possible. So let's go for Drizzile. We're going to search our deck for the Inteleon. Remember when you're playing against this matchup that their Fusion Strike energies will be blocking abilities that you have, such as Neutralizing Gas and Quick Shooting, so don't really hit into the wrong ones. Let's go for Galarian Weezing, or not Galarian, what am I talking about? See, this is why I catch myself making mistakes. Let's go for the Inteleon Evolve here. And before we do anything else, we are just going to go with Bruno before we play anything else. So we did get the energy, that's awesome. We're going to put those down. Took a second there to load up. I'm not sure why. There's our Dark Energy. I am going to put 2 damage counters onto the Meloetta. That's in case they put a Fusion Strike energy down and drop an Oricorio and Psychic Leap into it if we do get the Hoopa out eventually. I know that's like a run-on sentence, but sometimes you got to think around the block. We're going to go ahead here, retreat, send up, and get the attack off with Waterfall. This does allow us to go maybe get a Raihan off next turn. Depending on what we top deck, we're looking for Sableye, Raihan, Energy. We do have Level Ball that can search for a Drizzile. We do have Drizzile that can search, like we could go Level Ball, Drizzile, search for Evolution Incense into an Inteleon with Shady Dealings, search a deck for Raihan, Quick Ball, and then power up a Sableye if they do go for a knockout at all. If they don't, then we're just going to be chilling with Waterfall for a little bit and spreading our damage. Or maybe we'll find something else that can get a knockout. We'll have to see how it goes. They might just go, like, I don't think they're going to go Cross Fusion Strike plus Power Tablet, Power Tablets to get the knockouts, which is pretty cool. So they might just go for the, oh wow, they're just going for the knockouts. They've now drawn 2 prize cards. We could do 240 with Moltres, I believe. So Moltres doing 20 plus 50 plus 50, 120, 120 times 2. So yeah, I think that's really what the play is. We just have to try to make it happen. So let's go for the Castform there and see what we have. So we have a Dark Energy. We have another Dark Energy. We just need to get a little bit more. That's really where it's at. We need a little bit more. So we can get 1 Dark Energy from the Klara. I think we might have enough to get the knockouts. So let's go Level Ball for Drizzile. I think we have to go Drizzile into Shady Dealings. And we have to find a way to get Moltres so we can go Quick Ball after we get Evolution Incense. And then I think we could search our deck for an Energy Search or something like that. We'll have to double check here. Either way, we have to go this Drizzile to make anything happen this turn. So let's double check to see. We have access to actually with Klara we could just get the other 2 energies. So 1, 2, 3. So we just really need to search our deck for a Quick Ball here. Now the only reason why we want to go for Evolution Incense is so that we have a supporter for next turn. I think that sounds really good. Yeah. So I think I'm just going to go for an Evolution Incense and hold on to it. Mew does not play Marnie or anything like that. So, yeah, we're going to go Evolution Incense, search your deck for the Shady Dealings Inteleon. I may be going a little bit of an extra step here. I could have maybe done a better job at checking through my prize cards to see what we would have drawn, but I'm excited because we're probably going to draw 3 prize cards this turn, or I should say we're definitely going to be drawing 3 prize cards this turn. Let's search our deck for Quick Ball. Again, Quick Ball with a Weezing. We have Klara that can get back a couple pieces. And we could even get like something else. I'm just trying to think about what's the best play here. I think just Cynthia's Ambition sounds really good. Although I do think we're going to be getting a knockout after, so maybe we just want to... Yeah, we also have access to Drizzile. Let's just go for Energy or Training Court. Training Court sounds really good. Had to think that one out a little bit. We're going to go ahead and Quick Ball this away. We do have the Galarian Moltres. And this is where the deck kind of gets everything all together. So now we're able to go ahead and go Klara. We're going to do both, put these cards back into our hands, so we now have access to Drizzile. Do we want to grab something else with this? That's really the big question. I think here we're able to grab back another Shady, just a Shady Dealings Inteleon that might be better than what we currently have here. And let's go done. We're going to grab back our couple energies. Energy. We have an attached energy for our turn. So let's go ahead, drop the Moltres. We're going to go drop those 2. And since it's only because dark, colorless, we can go ahead, slap that down there. We're going to go ahead, retreat, send this up, and we're going to go for Fiery Wrath, knocking out the Mew for 240 damage, putting us up in the prize trade. So this is normally a turn earlier. Usually we wait until our opponent draws 3 prize cards. So we could do 170 times 2, 340, and we don't need to have any damage, but our opponent went for the Mew VMAX knockout. Everything seems to be falling in place nicely here. So now they have to attack us with the Meloetta. We can go ahead and maybe knock them out with just another Moltres. We have access to Klara for days, and that's really where, like, we're trying to get knockout on knockout. If our opponent evolves into a Mew VMAX, they will lose the game if they attack us here, because we have Klara, Training Court. Our opponent likely does not have Marnie or Judge, so we would just win the game. Our opponent's not going to be copying Psychic Leap, Power Tablet, send up Meloetta, but if they do, they will. Oh, they're playing Luminion in their deck. That's actually kind of a crazy combination. I'm not sure what they were looking for when it came down to it, but definitely an interesting strategy here. So there's another energy. Are they just going to be hitting with Max Miracle? I really hope that they're hitting for Max Miracle or Melodious Echo or something that just gets the knockout on the Moltres, because we will be able to chain our Klara. And their Path to the Peak, they might just go ahead and go for it. There's our Melodious Echo. So our opponent went for the prize cards, didn't play around our deck, and we're just going to be able to get everything back. So let's go ahead, send this up, and even if we didn't have the Klara, we could search out the Klara and make everything happen. You can see even with cards like Cynthia's Ambition, we're chilling. So let's go Training Court here. We're going to bump that. We're going to get back one of our energies. Let's just grab this energy, and we're just going to reutilize the other cards that we had already. So let's go Klara. We're going to go ahead and do both. Let's just go ahead, grab this. We're going to grab Dark. And we're going to go Malevolent Charge, powering up our Galarian Moltres. I wouldn't be surprised if our opponent conceded at any points. But there's that. We're going to give them the Well Played. Retreat, and use Galarian Moltres for game. While that might be only one game, and I like to get 2 or 3, this is the type of deck where if you get a game that shows its good strategy, or that you just don't go neutralizing gas, lock your opponent out of the game, I didn't really want to take away from the good game that we played here. A lot of people might view that Mew as a favorable matchup because we are a dark type deck, but they have to understand that Mew, when played correctly, can absolutely demolish this deck with cards like Oricorio, specifically attaching a Fusion Strike energy to things like Genesect to get through neutralizing gas, using Power Tablet, Psychic Leap to keep high-profile prize cards like Mew VMAX off the table. But as you can see in the video, Galarian Moltres was able to absolutely gobble up Mew after Mew with Fiery Wrath, and the game was over as soon as our opponent made that mistake of just attacking with us the first turn and then repeating it again the following turn. That's not to say that every single person knows how to play against this matchup, and it's not an easy matchup to play against, but that's really what led to their loss and what really led to our success. Now, had our opponent had an extra couple turns there, we could build up a higher hand. So you could see that they were put in some kind of weird, difficult position that allowed us to capitalize on what they were doing. This deck is incredibly difficult to play, and games can run long. So it is something that I don't necessarily advise this to be for a newer player, I think this deck is incredibly difficult to play. I want to stress that again. But if you do like this concept, by all means, try it out. I have covered it a few times in the past in similar builds, so if you want a little bit more gameplay, the deck's going to be very similar to what we've covered in the past. It's also been in a couple finals for the Late Night series that I have covered on the channel as well. Again, the format's very similar, just adding Arceus into it and Ultra Ball, that it's not really going to change things too much. If you are trying to pick up this deck, you could always go to PTCGO plug in code ZealSage5 to pick up some code cards. You could also go to AtlasCollectibles.com, use code ZealSage8 to save 8% on your order of Pokemon singles if you're trying to build this deck in real life. If you're trying to get some coaching from me to become a better player, or just really grow, or learn a little bit more about the game, you could always hit me up. I offer coaching at Manaphy.gg/@ZachLesage. All the links are available in the description, along with a copy and pastable deck list for PTCGO, PTCG Live, wherever you're going to be putting the deck. I hope that everyone enjoyed this video. I do want to let everyone know that we are so close to 10,000 subs at the time of creation. We're about 80 away. It's been an absolutely amazing journey, and I appreciate every single person who's contributed in some way. Whether it's just from watching a video, I honestly mean it from the bottom of my heart, that it's one of those things that it's absolutely special, and I'm not just capping. I just gotta be like, ooh, but it's one of those things where I really appreciate every single person. If you haven't already, give this video a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you're looking for. All of those things really do help boost the YouTube algorithm and help me grow as a content creator. I'll catch up with everyone later, and stay tuned for the late night later on tonight. Peace out. Have a great one. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video, and have yourself a great day. Thanks.